Welcome into this Monday morning edition. Blue Sky Live here with you today. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio. Ole Miss basketball beating Mississippi State in Starkville 68-67 on 68-67, 67-66. Which one? 1 point.
I thought
I knew it until I started talking.
67.
And then
They won by one.
they won by one. That's what it was. It was 68-67. Ole Miss over Mississippi State. Rebels moving to 3-2 in the SEC. Now winners of 3 in a row. They get a home game against the Auburn Tigers on Tuesday prior to a trip to Rupp Arena in Lexington on Saturday, 11 a.m. ESPN on Saturday for that tilt against the Wildcats. So we'll talk about that today. The NCAA transfer portal is closed, but that doesn't mean all the news and all the drama is over quite yet. So we'll hit into those things, as well as the Trinidad Chambliss situation, because we have not had a show since then. Ole Miss, not Ole Miss. They have filed a waiver request. There's a possibility that's heard this week, and then Tom Mars, William Liston have filed the motion in Lafayette County Chancery Court. So we'll talk about all that and more coming up today on the show. Show brought to you every day by Blue Sky locations throughout the state of Mississippi, up and down I-55 throughout North Mississippi as well. They will take care of you with everything from Sweet Daddy stops, again, the brisket, the lunch specials, and plenty more. You got the Epicenter down in Macomb. You've got the gas and car wash duo there in Byram, and much more. So again, that is going on there with Blue Sky, and again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for our friend Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you are looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do. Let's hop into a Clark Ford today. I suspect you will be like me. You'll love the product. You'll love the service. People at Clark Ford take great care of you. It's a long-term relationship long after you drive the vehicle off the lot. 662-257-1900. Guest join on the Campbell Clinic hotline, from fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions. The pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi, providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit campbellclinicoxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
See Grind in the stream this morning. Debut of On the Grind is a podcast here with us at MPW Digital. It is up in the inaugural episode, up in the stream, up in the network. So Grind's been liked around here for a very long time. Check it out if you so wish. It is there. Good to see you. Glad that you made me remember that this morning as we're getting going. Chambliss, I guess, is where I'm starting. I don't know where you want to start.
That's fine.
Several topics.
Sure.
We'll get to all of it. But look, I said when I guess it came out on Friday, they filed the petition in Lafayette County's Chancery Court again on Friday afternoon. I think 4:19 was the time there on that when I saw the stamp. So I've read through it. Posted on X regarding it being filed again, a combination of Tom Mars and William Liston, and I predicted on X that Trinidad Chambliss is going to be the Ole Miss quarterback in 2026. I stand by that for in multiple ways. I have multiple situations of being right in that, or at least possibilities. First off, there's at least, and this isn't just Ole Miss Pollyanna, I've heard this from different places here that understand the protocol around what is going on with Trinidad Chambliss, the appeals process for the NCAA and whatnot. There's some optimism that they could win the appeal.
Yeah.
And that comes from multiple places. So it comes on the first place of, we've reported this, we've talked about this a good bit. Ole Miss, the NCAA has been concerned with setting precedent in this case. Using precedent as in current documents regarding an illness or an injury being the primary reason to give eligibility on a previous season, and that dovetailing into another tributary that's allowing players to get extra seasons. The NCAA has been very concerned about that. Right, wrong, and different. That's up to you. You can decide how you feel about that as it goes on. However, on an appeals process, it doesn't work out the same way on precedent. So there is the possibility that they win the appeal for one of two reasons. One, the facts mean that they should win the appeal and they get to avoid precedent. Or number two, frankly, they think they're probably going to lose in court, and there's no reason to go through that process when you could simply keep what you're worried about from happening and provide the year there. So I think that's what we'll find out. I think the appeals committee for the NCAA is meeting this week.
Yes.
I heard Wednesday at some point. Now, how that process plays out, I do not know. However, I heard they were meeting on Wednesday.
I don't know that it's some instantaneous hearing where they release an instantaneous ruling.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure they hear it, and then everybody goes their separate ways. That committee obviously is comprised of people who don't live in the same place, but they can get on a Teams call or a Zoom call or whatnot and make decisions. It's my understanding that typically what happens is they hear it, then everybody goes to their separate places to
deliberate independently.
Well, yeah, and they hear lots of things. I don't think they hear one thing and then rule on it and then hear another thing. I think they hear everything and then go back and distribute rulings. But I agree with your assessment of it, that they're not going to win in court. And if they were to win in court, by the time they won in court, in all likelihood, it would take 2 years. The season's not going to last 2 years. They're better off probably from a PR standpoint. And I do think they're very sensitive to losing court cases. That's been pretty established the last few years, that they've lost a lot of court cases. Those court cases have frustrated them. Judges have made rulings that have frustrated them, that have led to, the elimination of the one-time transfer, for example. I almost wonder if, as long as it doesn't establish precedent of, hey, sweeping 6 years for everyone, they don't kind of wave the white flag here a little bit and avoid the court proceedings.
I think that is a possibility. So you could find out that relatively quickly. And then the court side is more complicated. And I'm going to talk through it a little bit, but I'm also going to be careful because, as I mentioned, I'm going to get some things wrong. I am not an attorney by any stretch of the matter, but kind of like the Holiday Inn thing. I've talked to some. So
yeah,
I'm versed here enough.
I've talked to enough of them to almost go, I'm not going to go here, because I don't know that I think I could get lost pretty fast. But go ahead, go for it.
Well, I'm just going to hit a few things that I think are relevant to the fans following this case as it sees through. First off, they've assigned a judge to the case. It is Robert Whitwell, Bob Whitwell, known more colloquially, former partner of the Freese firm. Degrees, bachelor's from Delta State, Ole Miss Law School. He's been a U.S. attorney in the past. Actually has some athletic playing career. Was a quarterback and captain at Northwest Community College in 1965. I've talked to multiple people regarding him. Highly well regarded. Fair, all the things that you would hope for. There were two options in Chancery Court, to the best of my knowledge of understanding of who could get the case. I think both would have been nothing to be bothered by on either side. However, people seem pleased with Whitwell getting the case here and following it through. Couple things, few things is, first off, and we've talked about this, Mars, Liston, Chambliss, they are citing irreparable harm, meaning there is not money that can fix the problem if he's not allowed to play or continue on a path by the time the case is solved. That is the basis working here, and that's obviously true, that if you waited to the end of the legal process and kept him restricted at that point, it would be irrelevant at that juncture. That seems like a very common sense thing,
right,
to the matter of this. And why that is relevant is two things that they are asking for. They are asking for a temporary injunction, which would allow him to be eligible through this process as it plays out. That would make him eligible for the 2026 season and to play quarterback for Ole Miss for his final year of eligibility. They are all also asking for a permanent injunction, which would prevent the NCAA from punishing him should he lose the case, or punishing Ole Miss should the case be won by the NCAA when it all played out at that juncture. To me, and I'm wondering here, this is what I don't know. Maybe the main thing I don't know. There's a couple, but the main one is that simply the location of where this case is being held. The NCAA has had a lot of success in federal court over the course of the last 12 to 18 months. They've won a lot of cases, including one that I didn't think it had a ton of merit here in the past week or so. Dellinger made, and again, Ross is great. He made a bigger deal of it related to the Chambliss case than I can come to when I'm simply looking at it. It looked like a bunch of players in sort of a class action, not a class action, but whatever. Again, I'm using the wrong terms, but we all are on colloquial here. Coming in together and basically just going, hey, we should get an extra year just because. And they did not win. The NCAA fought through that.
Where was that case?
It was in federal court.
I
do not know the answer to that. But it's even like the timelines are different. There's so many things that are impacted if you're not in federal court. Mars, and he talked about this on social media, is using, and again, I'm just not even going to use the legal term because I don't have it written down. But he's using what he believes to be calls to file in Lafayette County, Mississippi, Chancery Court, that the NCAA, if they have a member institution in that state, they are a resident and member of that state. Thus, you can file in any state court where the NCAA has a member at that point.
Okay.
Again, that's probably a very simple way to explain what's going on there, but that is sort of the justification in that way. It is a technicality that they have found and believed to be true. Maybe not even technicality, just the way they interpret it. That if the NCAA has a member institution, they are privy to state court in that state for whatever the case is. Obviously, Ole Miss would much rather it be in Chancery Court in Lafayette County than in federal court for myriad reasons as time goes on. And then the reason I was bullish is that if you read through, and I've read through the lawsuit, I've asked for summary, I've done as much as I can do to my intelligence level. The main reason why the NCAA, there you go, defeats diversity jurisdiction for federal court. Did you hear the case, Jace? Thanks, Topher. I needed an attorney to give me the exact classification. That's what it is. Diversity just jurisdiction.
Okay.
Saying it doesn't exist because they can simply be Mississippi in this point. So the NCAA, in their initial ruling, said that one of the reasons was that the evidence for Trinidad Chambliss's illness and injury, or whatever you want to call it, from 2022 was essentially backdated. It was not from the 2022 time in real time. It was lots of letters and documentation from 2024 put back on 2022.
Right.
Where they are in trouble if you just simply read the situation.
The NCAA's in trouble? Okay.
Yes. If you just simply read the deal. Oh, wow. Hunter just says Bills have fired McDermott.
Oh.
Actually, not overly shocked by that. But anyway, we'll get to that later, probably tomorrow. So the NCAA, though, came out in recent months or years. Again, I probably should have had this up, and I had a file, and I can't find it. It's kind of bothering me right now, but whatever. And said that no longer is the only justification for getting to an approval in these cases. Prior to that, yes, you had to have contemporaneous evidence that was from the time period that you were talking about and nothing beyond that. However, the NCAA changed their own policies, their own bylaw that said contemporaneous or other evidence to make this kosher. And if you look at the evidence that they have put together, at minimum, I don't see how, and again, tomorrow will be my first day as a judge, I don't see how you don't at least get to the injunction part of this conversation, because you're talking about the assistant athletic director at Ferris State, who said that, yes, he absolutely was debilitated to whatever level during that season. You have Anthony Howard, the physician from that year saying, yes, that was an impact in that way. You have the NCAA intentionally not including the last paragraph of Ferris State's comment about why Trinidad did not play. They simply, in their report, put that it was developmental.
Mm-hmm.
However, below that, they went on to say that, yes, he did have issues related to his health that also contributed to that. And the NCAA did not put that inside their case or their summary of why they denied it. So you have a mountain of evidence, including what we mentioned, grade 3 tonsillitis, tonsil situations, that is 51 to 75% of blockage in your throat from that.
Right.
Multiple experts in the filing saying that that would absolutely contribute to issues related to conditioning, playing, performance, all the stuff for any type of athlete. There's no doubt about that. The other thing that I think is part of the case that I do find interesting, and nobody's talked about this one much, and I don't know how relevant it is, but it's one of the places where my antenna has gone up as I'm reading through this case. And it's that the NCAA is using part of its argument, to the best of my ability to understand, related to the situation. And they are saying he was able to practice and he was in some scrimmages. So if he's able to do that, why does that make him unable to?
Their argument is if he was debilitated, he should have been debilitated across the board.
Correct.
Right.
This is where, if again, this is my general common sense, hand-raised guy, whatever, reading it, I wonder a little bit of how this gets approached, because in the filing, I think Liston wrote the majority of it. They are claiming that you don't lose a season of eligibility without gameplay. So thus now we're getting into the minutia of an injured player. Did he ride a bike? Did he do this? Where are we drawing the line on attempting to develop and push through versus the ability to actually play in the game? Because by the own NCAA rule book, if we're just being very technical, you don't lose anything by practicing.
Right.
That does nothing to you in any ways. And there are kids who absolutely have had medical red shirts that have still been out on the practice field in some capacity.
Sure.
So how are you defining that with this razor edge on where to break the nuance? I find that part of the case very interesting as we move forward.
Yeah, I do too. The more I hear, the more I think he's going to win. I actually think he's going to win on appeal. I almost wonder if the NCAA at this point is just sort of lodging disputes just for the sake of establishing, hey, you will have to have specificity here to avoid setting precedents. I do think that's their primary concern. I don't even, and this is uneducated, it's just a guess from reading the court filing and sort of seeing their lack of response. I don't even think this is for them is even about this specific case at this point. I think it's more about an overarching concern with the slippery slope of where court rulings have gone, where the rules have gone over the past 5 years or less, how much change has happened in 5 years or less, and how as that change happens, they have less control.
Of course.
And as they have less control, more change happens. And it sort of becomes that cycle, if you will. And the faster the cycle goes, the more change happens. So I think this is them. I could be wrong. Again, I'm not an attorney and haven't done as much research on this as you have, but I have talked to some people, and they sort of have steered me in this direction. This is them establishing that, hey, when this comes down, this doesn't mean that everybody can go immediately apply for a 6th year. You do have to have you do have to have specificity. And I think they are clinging to the idea of, hey, if this were really as serious as you all are saying it was, there would have been documentation at the time. If someone essentially had 75% blockage in his throat and was unable to play, there would have been that person would have gone to the doctor. There would have been doctor's reports that would have been filed, et cetera. Do I think that's going to hold up? I really don't. But I think that's where they're going with this. I think this is them attempting to lodge as much protest as possible to prevent this from leading into something where lots of different student athletes start applying for a 6th year of eligibility just because. Or get somebody to go back and write, hey, he had the flu. He had a really bad flu. He got pneumonia. It was a really bad pneumonia. Whatever the case may be, right?
Sure.
I mean, I think that's where this is going. Where I think he's ultimately going to win is money.
Because
He's worth about $5 million at a minimum at Ole Miss next year. Not even calculating NIL possibilities into it. That's the rev share. That's what they've established. They've also established that he's probably no higher than a 3rd-round draft choice as of this moment. If he were to come out in this draft.
Yeah, I think that's a ceiling.
And quite possible that he goes 3rd day, meaning I guess that's 5th through 7th rounds.
Mm-hmm.
So in that situation, you just get a signing bonus. You're not guaranteed a contract.
Not guaranteed a roster spot in no way.
Not guaranteed anything other than just a signing bonus, and it would be a signing bonus that would be well south of $5 million. So you're causing irreparable harm if you deny him the opportunity to play, and that's why ultimately I think he's going to.
And that's one of the justifications for Chancery Court is that it's a contract dispute.
Yeah,
in essence.
Yeah,
that you have taken this contract, said what is going on, and here's the deal. And thus, when you prevent it, you're preventing the contract from being able to be fulfilled at that point. In their minds,
I think it was
not illegally, but whatever.
I think it was one of the reasons they wanted to get a rev share deal done even before they had a ruling on his eligibility. And obviously, Ole Miss feels good about it based on what you see with them in the portal at the quarterback position.
Ole Miss is 100% operating like Trinidad Chambliss is the quarterback next season. Trinidad Chambliss is 100% operating like he is the quarterback next season. Yeah. I've been told by multiple people that he has been maybe the premier front person for all recruiting or retention efforts from a player standpoint for Ole Miss during the course of this portal period.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of drama here, honestly. I think this is going to end with him being the quarterback. How it ends is interesting. I'm not sure there's a lot of if you were writing this that you're going to have a hard time making this a cliffhanger. My opinion.
Here's the deal too. There's no real hurry. I mean, again, I'll get a little more data on this. It's probably the one place I could have done better yesterday and didn't. So I'll be clear 100%. But the way Chancery Court typically works, the complaint was filed on Friday. They have like 30 days to serve the defendant.
Yeah.
The NCAA in this instance. Now,
then the NCAA
there
gets
are
time to
things
respond.
the judge can do prior to that, or without following a timeline the same of it's like a criminal case or something would. It's not the same. But Chancery Court in general doesn't get in a hurry. Like if you're talking about the actual case being played out, the injunction would hold through the season. There's no world where any lawyer of any salt.
No.
And just simply the way the timeline works, that you would have this solved in a complete capacity prior to the end of the season.
No, it's likely a 2-year legal process. My understanding. Just dockets, and this doesn't move to the necessarily move to the top of the docket. It's just another case in court.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not.
It doesn't get precedent because it has an athletics.
Yeah. I'm not minimizing the case. I'm just saying you don't. This isn't someone's freedom.
Yeah.
On the line. This isn't a.
And now it's Chancery Court.
Yeah. But you understand. But it's different. I mean, it's just going to get on the list. I fully expect he will be the quarterback for Ole Miss in 2026, or he will be on the roster as an active member.
I mean,
Yeah,
barring an injury. Yeah, I mean, as of today, I feel very confident saying that Trinidad Chambliss is the number 1 quarterback for Ole Miss when they kick off against Louisville. Deuce Knight's number 2, and Walker Howard's number 3. Depending on how you want to factor in AJ Maddox into this thing, whatever 3. I mean,
whatever.
That's not the minutia that I'm concerned with at the moment. But whatever that looks like, that's where I think we stand. So
yeah, I agree.
That's where the Chambliss situation is. It's good news for Ole Miss. Everything to this point, in my opinion. Whether it be with an appeal. And again, if Ole Miss loses the appeal, that still doesn't change my mind. So let me clarify that as we move on. Is that while I do think they have a chance of winning the appeal, that's not some death knell patient zero situation.
Well, it's like I asked you yesterday. Here's the NCAA's problem at this point, and I think they almost acknowledge this, is what is their options for punishment? I mean, let's just play it out.
It would be vacated wins, I guess.
I mean, yeah, let's just play it out and say.
So unless Ole Miss wins the national championship, and frankly, even
then, you still
saw it, felt it,
built. Memphis played in a national championship game, and even though you vacated it, they still played in the game. I mean, I saw it. I watched it.
Yeah.
It happened. But forget results for a minute. Just he plays the season. Okay?
Yeah.
You can't time travel back.
No.
I wish I could. You can't time travel back and erase it or change the decision and go, okay, well, we'll go through the season now with a different quarterback. It doesn't work like that. So, I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to take some scholarships away?
Well, you're
going to take some official visits away? I mean, I don't even know what the punitive. The only punishment that the NCAA could administer, and I don't think they have this capacity, is they could take from your rev share. And there's a world where by the time this appeal is heard, there's unlimited rev share.
Well, think about it like this. This is where people miss the point so much on this, is that if Trinidad Chambliss versus NCAA gets a temporary injunction, he is legally eligible. Actually, Ole Miss would be preventing his rights by not playing him or at least rostering him at that point.
Sure.
It's a legal binding document that allows that. So it's not even he if you get the injunction legally, he is in good standing to participate.
Yeah.
Thus, you can't be then
But again, I go back to what I'm trying to say.
I know.
I mean, I don't even know what their punishment would be. Unless they can suddenly say, hey, you can't spend your rev share. And again, I mean, you have over the weekend or late last week, you have people around college athletics, the president at Miami, the AD at Ohio State, and others basically saying this cap system doesn't work. It's clearly not working. Uncap it. So by the time in a world where I'm just playing out a hypothetical scenario where he's granted, I mean, there is an injunction granted, and ultimately he loses the case after the 2026 season is complete.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know what's the word? Remedy? Is that the?
I mean, it's fine.
Is that the legal word?
Probably not, but it's okay.
I don't know. I don't know what that would be. There's nothing really you could do.
Yeah.
And I think by the time, I think it's likely, in fact, by the time that played out, let's call it 2 years, the ground rules, if you will, for what govern the sport will have completely changed.
Yeah, they would have shifted again by that point. So, all right, we'll move on. We come back first. NeSpark, the fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available. Whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends, they offer both residential and business packages with speed up to 2 gigabits. To learn more or register for service, that's nespark.com. NeSpark, get connected, stay local.
We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different products, same great people, products and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, you're having trouble with your heating system. Obviously, cold weather's coming, potentially freezing weather's coming. You want to get in touch with them at 662-801-1010. 1777. If you live in Memphis, Hernando, South Haven, those areas, call 662-429-4429 for the folks at Southern Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Oxford locals, Ole Miss families, if you need dry cleaning or laundry done right, Lapel's Dry Cleaning has you covered. Proudly serving the Oxford community since 2016. Lapel's takes care of everything from suits and formal dresses to comforters and everyday laundry. Even better, they offer free pickup and delivery to make life easier. Just call 662-638-3149 to be added to their pickup and delivery route, or visit them at 3010 Old Taylor Road, right across from the Mark Condominiums. Mention Rebels 24/7 or MPW Digital for 50% off of your first order. Trust Lapels to keep you looking your best. We're brought to you by ENT Physicians of North Mississippi. As the largest private ENT practice in the state, their goal is simple: delivering fast, expert, comprehensive care for patients of all ages with ENT, allergy, sinus, dizziness, balance, and voice-related needs. With same-day or next-day appointments with ENT urgent care for that annoying cough or sore throat, in-office CT scans, and same-day allergy testing, and access to their comprehensive audiology team offering a full range of services from hearing aids and custom hearing protection to potential surgical options. ENT Physicians of North Mississippi are committed to removing barriers to care. They now have new locations in New Albany and Starkville, in addition to Tupelo, Corinth, and more. Get more details at entnorthmississippi.com or call 662-844-6513. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? Should you consider Roth conversions? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with a personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Sego with Sego Wealth Management specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere, schedule a free discovery meeting and see what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com.
Podcasts are also brought to you by The Firm. Does your home and auto insurance keep going up? Let the folks at The Firm, proud Liberty Mutual and Safeco Insurance agency partners, take a look. Find them Ole Miss alum Brian Hayden. They service the entire Southeastern Conference. Let their team of licensed professionals review your insurance needs and put together coverages to protect you and your family without breaking the bank. Schedule a consultation at 662-236-1101 or email staff at thefirmsouth.com. Podcast also brought to you by New Albany Pharmacy and Solutions, NewAlbanyPharmacy.com. For those in Union County, check the website. They're at 140 Fairfield Drive, 662-539-7777. Family-owned pharmacy, excellent service, wide range of gifts for all ages, home decor, and plenty more. Tell them you heard about them, MPW Digital, and get 15% off any non-medical purchase. So portal ended on Friday night, 11:59 Central. But as we've talked about, and has been the case with situations around multiple players with Ole Miss, that is simply the deadline for a player to request admission into the transfer portal, the one and only transfer portal for the year. But there's some technicality there, and that involves a couple different things. One is that schools have 48 hours from that point to put business days, basically 2 business days, to put a player into the portal. Well, when that happens on Friday night, you have until Tuesday to do that. So there will be players going into the portal as late in the day tomorrow before you know the full understanding of everyone who's available at this juncture.
As long as they indicated to their school,
correct,
in some form of writing, an email, a text, it's my understanding, anything,
yeah,
that, hey, I want to get in the portal, they have until tomorrow to actually file the paperwork and actually get into the portal.
We should have to use fax machines. We should bring back fax machines one last time.
It's a thought.
We should. So for Ole Miss, a couple players on the current roster that are out on the vine from that. The first and the more simple one is Caden Lee, the Ole Miss wide receiver. who had been in contact with Ole Miss throughout the process. Nobody's frustrated with Caden. He got into the portal late in the day on Friday at some point, and requested to be entered into the portal late in the day on Friday. He is into the portal, and I expect him to end up with the Missouri Tigers, reuniting with Austin Simmons at this point. I think that is where that is trending currently, is for Caden to be there. And Ole Miss has done a good bit of pickup at his position, his specific receiver position, even at that. Jonte Cook from Syracuse, the last couple of days. They've done a lot there. So that's not a shock.
It looks like they prepared for the eventuality.
The good news for Ole Miss is that there were no surprises on Friday. They did not get shocked by anybody getting in the portal. You're not going to get blindsided today or in the morning by some random Ole Miss, not random, but premier Ole Miss player getting into the portal.
Well, and some of that drama was falsely generated.
With who?
Just like Kiwan, for example.
Yeah, there was nothing.
I don't think there was anything over the last several days with even tampering with Kiwan Lacey.
Yeah, so a couple things here. Alan says, technically, if you unenroll and re-enroll at a different school, do transfer portal rules apply? Once you're in the portal once, you're just still in the portal. Because...
So we're getting into the Clemson thing.
Well, I mean, it's a couple different things. One, Chris Jones, he went from Ole Miss to Florida State, even though he had signed or whatever he did. Whatever. I'm not.
Had he signed a rev share deal?
I don't know, so I'm just moving on. And then the Ferrelli kid. And
even the rev share deals, I think, have to be executed before they go into effect. Right? I don't know. This is the part where I get why everybody's kind of frustrated, because we get frustrated with it, but I'm not even sure the people who do it necessarily know all of the actual rules, or if there are rules, or what's actually completely applicable. I'm not positive that everyone. And I've seen texts from different coaches and such to indicate that they don't all necessarily know what the rules are as it pertains to when a kid's at a place and signs a rev share and then decides that he wants to go to a different place before classes begin. And
it appears that most of those buyouts, though, even just on signature, are binding. They appear to be, or at least, let me put it this way: the school receiving the player does not, in most instances, feel they are justified in fighting not paying it.
Right.
To the nth degree that would be required. Let's say that.
Well, and a lot of them have buyouts associated. Like,
I'm going to get into Principal in a second. I've kind of separated him out for a purpose.
But I mean, there's more. I mean, like,
there was a Devin Harper buyout that OSU will have to pay for Devin Harper.
The kid that Ole Miss got from South Carolina, I think Ole Miss paid a buyout on that.
I think that one got weird because of the Syracuse. I couldn't really figure out exactly what happened there.
And I don't say that like in some sinister way. I just think it's just kind of become.
It's where we are.
It's just a part of the thing. It's kind of across the board with, I mean, one fairly notable exception that we'll probably talk about in a minute. But I think generally now people go, okay, well, what is the buyout? Because the buyout just comes out of your rev share. The money that you send to the other school doesn't go into their rev share. It just sort of goes into a fund.
But it's still money you can use. I mean, $550,000 is still $550,000 to pay for something.
Sure.
I mean, that's not nothing.
Yeah. No, it's
because I've seen the message board people kind of go, I mean, I don't mean that negatively. I mean, I've seen some comments going, yeah, but what do you do with it? It's like, well, you spend it. I mean, it's still money. You get money. It's not nothing. And I mean, money matters. But no, I understand what you mean, though. You're right in that the calculus for you does not change.
Right.
How to avoid
that was my point. It's just sort of been factored in now as, okay, well, this is just the cost of doing business in the current environment. I think it's one of the reasons that you're starting to see more and more schools go, okay, well, we're going Miami, for example. Hey, we ended up having to spend a lot more on a quarterback than we thought we were going to because the market changed. Well, and so we did this, and quite frankly, why are we doing these caps? What their argument is, and I think they're right. I'll be interested to hear Tyler's talk on this today. Their argument is, look, everyone is finding different ways to circumvent the rules. Not necessarily to break them, but to circumvent them, to make the guardrails more pliable. And so I think that's where the argument's coming in of this idea that we had of rev share creating a cap didn't work. Because like the list of Power 4 schools, in my opinion, and I don't have a comprehensive knowledge on this, but I know a good bit more over the weekend than I did Thursday or Friday. The list of Power 4 schools that are only spending $20.5 million on their football rosters is really small.
I'm going to be curious to see that when it all comes out, because here's the reason I say that. I'm wondering how right Tyler is on things are so inflated, because I wonder if we are nationally hearing numbers that not every school is doing. Like I am a little wondering if we're overplaying the number of schools on that.
Yeah.
But what is happening very much look, I think Ole Miss is going to have a roster. It ends up costing more than $30 million next year. When everything NIL, rev share, the whole thing is done. I think LSU is going to be a good bit higher than that. LSU is a great test case for a couple different reasons. And I'm not crazy knowledgeable, but I think I understand enough to say what I'm about to say. They were able to front load like crazy. I'm kind of proving Neal's point before I move on here on how the math is working differently for some schools. Is everybody gets 20 and a half, but that 20 and a half works almost on a fiscal calendar, not a regular calendar or an academic, like whatever. It has its own calendar. Yeah, Ole Miss is getting the Ferrelli kid, and I understand Clemson being pissed, but at the end of the day, I don't think they signed him to any rev share deal, and that's kind of your own fault. So I'm having a hard time completely buying into the frustration there. In the world we're in right now, I'm not saying that you probably shouldn't be annoyed, but at the same time, you didn't protect your house very well. LSU front loaded a ton. They didn't spend much on basketball, so you had some extra rev share. Hardly any. They handcuffed Matt McMahon last year in basketball, thus it helping football. They were able to take
pretty much told him they were doing it on the front end, by the way.
They took their rev share for the year, helped with retention, and then they are basically robbing Peter to pay Paul a little bit and running up some credit card debt on next group to pay acquisitions. So they're putting, in some ways, 3 years sort of all together here on this class.
Yeah.
Now, is that bill going to be due next year? Do you just open a new credit card and move that another year down the road? Do you anticipate there being rule changes that change the game completely? So that's a tomorrow problem. Probably all those things are playing into it to some level as they're doing this.
I think so. I think you see a lot of I think the shift at the Power 4 level, I think if you're looking for a way to put this in a somewhat succinct place, it is that more schools, more programs have gone from emphasizing program to emphasizing team. If you were to do it in a pro sports, it's a team that goes, hey, we don't really know what we're going to look like next year. We're going all in on this season. We're going to make the big acquisitions for this season. We're going to play this season. We're going to see how far we can go, and then we'll figure it out. Right? And I think, because I think in a pre-NIL rev share era, you saw more programs just across the board. Yes, there was an emphasis on team, but the overall emphasis usually was on health of program. You were trying to recruit, you were trying to develop, you were trying to have infrastructure that supported year over year. Senior day came and went. You honored those kids. It was kind of the model that you have in high school, right? I think where you have now is more and more schools are going, hey, yeah, we need to make sure we have a healthy program, but the emphasis needs to be on this year's team. And then we'll figure out the rest kind of down the road. Or, and I think you're going to see this at a lot of places, hey, we're going to take a program approach with this position group, but we're going to take a team approach with this position group.
I do believe that.
And so I think you're seeing that new strategy start to sort of play its way out.
LSU is fighting this thought, but in general, across the country, they do not believe you can just put 5 portal offensive linemen together and be successful in a season. So you're going to, on the lines, you need to get a little bit of continuity. You need to get some freshmen. You need to get some high school kids. Okay, maybe some corner, maybe some this, whatever. And then, hey, let's just go get skill positions and portal guys, and let's just do that as we go.
Or vice versa. I mean, I don't. And I think a lot of coaches, it's going to be year to year. Hey, this is the approach we do this year, and then the approach might be different the next year.
Now, and this is a little nuanced.
Unless, like, you get into and I guess this was more basketball specific, but like the John Calipari, is it Pari or Perry? Perry?
Calipari.
John Calipari's proposal, which he's trying to get back. He's somehow trying to figure out a way leading. I think he's talked to a lot of people where you get collective bargaining, where you get some rules that allow you to have more emphasis on program and less total emphasis on just this year's team.
Well, I mean, again, this is a nuanced take because everybody's doing the same thing to some level. But there is a little bit of irony that the one school, and now maybe they couldn't. There's a lot. I was reading a story about it this morning. Indiana playing for the national title tonight. We one play away from we'd be in Miami right now. They worried a lot more about their top 50 to 60 players versus the top 10. Where, hey, let's get some depth pieces. Let's hit guys who fill specific niches, fill roles, do this, do that, do that. Let's not just simply go grab the best 25 and see what happens at that point. Much like how, and I've talked about this, I think, and you've seen some change this year, the basketball programs that just spend all the money on one player, it's actually hurt them a lot of times.
Yeah.
Asa Newell, Collins Murray Boyle, those kind of guys in the SEC last year where their teams were sort of bad because you end up capping out at some degree without filling your entire roster at that point. So I think there's something to that as well. I mentioned Prince Wall, Amani Ellen a minute ago. He is maybe the one current roster decision left to be made from Ole Miss. So right now, a couple things at play here. So he requested to go into the portal on Friday, I think. It may have been Thursday, but either way, it's running together a little bit. Thursday or Friday. The defensive end, one-year player from Nebraska to Ole Miss, asked to go into the portal. Again, Ole Miss has until 2 business days following that. So either end of day today or end of day tomorrow, depending on what day it was that he requested to go in. So what's happened during that period of time is that Ole Miss has been able to still negotiate with him, still be trying to keep him if that is an amicable decision on both parts. And then it's, okay, do you still want to go into the portal? So if he's not just staying, hey, we're going to ask you one last time. PW, you ready to go in? Is that what we're doing? He says yes. Most people believe it's LSU where he's headed.
Right.
He's very close with Lou Spanos.
But he could technically then go visit lots of
anywhere.
places.
Yeah, do whatever he wants. Because I'll get to that one last thing in a second. He can do whatever, but LSU seems to be the primary target should that happen. It's tight with Spanos, his former assistant defensive line coach.
I think the whole family is.
Correct. If he does that, he has a $550,000 buyout that LSU would have to pay Ole Miss at that juncture to sign him to whatever the hell they're paying him. So it would be an extra $550,000 cap hit on LSU to their rev share number plus whatever his salary is at that point.
Yep.
Again, Ole Miss can put it in the bank and do whatever it wants to with it. It just doesn't make their 20.5 become 21.
Right.
That's where that sits. So that is where that is. That could play out by the end of the day today. I kind of expect it to, but it could go into tomorrow. But it feels like today could bring some finality to that. And that's it.
I think it could go either way.
I do too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Ole Miss has picked up Mekhi Frazier in the transfer portal, the number 1 available running back for Michigan State. He had 500 and something rushing yards last year for the Spartans. They have really retooled that running backs room all of a sudden.
Completely.
You're looking at it. You've got Lindsey, you've got Frazier, you've got the kid from Southern Utah yesterday, whose name is escaping me. Actually, I had somebody point out some decent stuff about him. I have no clue, but I did have somebody reach out about it.
Put up big numbers at Southern Utah.
And then, obviously,
still have Shakai Mills-Knight.
yes.
And then, obviously, Q1.
Yeah, and Shakai's been, I think, re-signed for next season. At least, he didn't get in the portal. So, yeah, he's here. No, it's a fairly deep running back room now. Fairly. For the Division I level, it's a hellaciously deep running back room right now.
Yeah.
Almost kind of makes you wonder why a couple of the dudes did it, but whatever. None of my business. They are trying to preserve Lacey's carries.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think this isn't a knock on anyone. Some of it was Logan Diggs wasn't as ready as they thought Logan was going to be at the beginning of the season. And Shakai wasn't ready as a true freshman at the beginning of the season to really contribute at the SEC level, that they really leaned on Kiwan. And I think I'm trying to, this is where you have off the record conversations. I think part of the appeal to Kiwan was, hey, we'll keep you fresh. We'll get you a blow here and there that you probably didn't get last season.
I mean,
because if you're Kiwan, you're a year away. If you have another season like the one you just had, I mean, you're headed to the league, and I mean, he's the NFL people that I've talked to over the course of the last season when they were sitting in the press box watching him play, love his game.
Yeah.
I mean, they love his game. It translates as a 3-down back in the NFL because he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can block. I mean, his pass protection is what wowed the NFL people the most. And then he's obviously a tough runner who can get to the second level and can hit another gear. I mean, he checks every box. So if I were his representation, I would, wherever he went, Ole Miss or Michigan or Hawaii, I would want to be like, hey, let's leave some tread on the tires. You know, when if things go well and you're putting a game away, let's let the young kids play, if you will.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by Chicory Market, chicorymarket.com. Remember, they're in the Midtown Shopping Center right there on North Lamar. Let them help you out with your vegetables, your meats. They got great vendors in there. Johnston Creamery, Home Place Pastures. A lot of specialty products you can't find anywhere else. Baseball season will be here very soon, actually less than a month now for baseball season. So when you're coming in for your Airbnb, stock up. Or if you just live here, give them a chance. And they got the Supper Club Valentine's night. If you don't want to worry about the square and all that stuff, Heath Johnson and his team, 4-course menu. They've got the menu up at chicorymarket.com. It's got everything from a bruschetta to a house-made fresh pasta with black truffle, Parmigiano Reggiano. They got grilled branzino. It's basically a sea bass with potatoes and different things, and dessert, roasted strawberry ice cream, chocolate sauce. Got a lavender tweet as well there on that menu. So that and much more coming up from Chicory Market. You can make your reservations right there online at the events page. Again, chicorymarket.com.
Arnett's Fine Jewelry is a 4th-generation jeweler.
You can pair those together for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, you could. There you go. Located in the old Lamons building on North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. They offer expert jewelry repair, diamond engagement rings, wedding bands, stackable diamonds, genuine stone bands, pearls, genuine color stones, diamond jewelry, and much, much more. It's obviously great for gifts. Chase mentioned Valentine's Day. You've got graduation not that far away, birthdays, anniversaries, and more. At Arnett's, they want to be your jeweler. We're brought to you by the College Corner. Speaking of Valentine's Day gifts, they've got all of that for the fans in your life. All the colors you want, all the name brands, Nike, Horn Legend, Champion, Antigua, just to name a few. Get the location here in Oxford, right off of Sisk Avenue in the Oxford Commons. They also have a Ridgeland store next to Fleet Feet, the Flowwood location next to the Half Shell, and you can always visit collegecornerstore.com. We're brought to you by Argent Wealth. They're based in Ridgeland, Mississippi. They've got clients in more than 20 states. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much, much more. At Argent, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Argent will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. It's myargentwealth.com. And we're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. John's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allow John to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits simply not available to other travelers. John traveled the globe for 37 years before getting into the travel business. He knows the extra attention that's needed to make a special trip one that creates a lifetime of unique memories. So just get in touch with him, give him some parameters, give him a budget, let him give you some options, and no, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or send him an email at jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on MPW Digital.
Podcast also brought to you by Horn Legend. HornLegend.com. They have tons of premium luxury men's items available, from the sports shirts. They are excellent. I've worn them with suits, worn them under other layers, and much more. They've got their quarter zips for the cold weather. Got some other options there from a pullover standpoint, and then the jackets and the vest, men's and women's, available. They're awesome, either gender there with the jackets and the vest. They got these new oceanside jackets that are great. You can check those out. Again, hornlegend.com. Click MPW Digital in the drop down. We would appreciate that. So again, that is hornlegend.com. I'm asking how baseball is going to be. We'll get into baseball when the time comes. We are not there yet, but we're getting there quickly. I really like their pitching staff. They need to play defense. We'll see how that goes. And then their offense is going to be good, but other people are more bullish on it just simply because it's got so much swing and miss. That worries me a little bit as the season plays out. But again, if you want to bet on college baseball and an exact order of finish, good luck, because it's never correct. It is the number one sport for some team. It's predicted to be 13th, finishing second. It's just kind of how it works, because age matters so much, maturity average matters so much. And 56 games, 30 league games, that's really not a very large sample size. That is not what people think it is. There's a reason why Major League Baseball plays 162 games, because it's just not many. So all those things play into it being a little volatile when it comes to college baseball. Basketball Saturday, Ole Miss knocked off again Mississippi State 68-67. Suddenly, the Rebels, courtesy of 2 road SEC wins on the week in Athens in the midweek, and then Mississippi State on Saturday, they are 3-2 in the SEC. They get a gettable game at home Tuesday against the Auburn Tigers. We'll look at the lines on that tomorrow. They're not out yet. It's just Monday. And then a road trip to Rupp, where Kentucky, they were down by 16 to LSU in the second half in the midweek. And then they were down by 18 or 20 to Tennessee on Saturday, came back to win both games. So Kentucky suddenly, they got the wins, but whoa boy, it's been a tumultuous week when you look at how the games have played out for the Wildcats.
Their game in Knoxville was wild. I actually watched a decent amount of it. The first half, they were just getting smoked. They were in trouble. And then they came back kind of guns blazing. And Tennessee just got off its game. But give Kentucky a lot of credit. That's 2 games that they could have easily lost. It's 2 road wins at the end of the day. I mean, I know a lot of the Kentucky people are still very much up in arms about Mark Pope and about the way this team looks and all of that kind of stuff. But they won the games, and their net is I had it up here. Their net is
70-something.
No. Kentucky's?
Oh, sorry, Ole Miss. Yeah, my bad. Yeah.
Kentucky's
6 or something.
Net is 28.
Yeah.
Their Ken Palm's 24. I mean, they're in great shape.
They don't look it, but yes.
They don't look like the team that has the record that it has, but they still went on the road and won 2 games. When the committee sits down, Maybe they do. I kind of doubt it. They appear to be very metric based in their decisions. I don't know that they're going to do the beauty contest. They're just going to look at the resume.
Yeah. So Saturday, Ole Miss pulling out this win in Starkville. Huge win for the Rebels. Again, getting to, I guess, 11-7 overall and now 3-2 in the SEC. The game was tied at 59. A.J. Storr hit a big three with about 3 minutes left, 250 somewhere in there. They added a Cameron layup. They went up 64-59, started to separate a little bit. State goes on a little mini run there for a second. They cut it to 2. Ole Miss, another Storr jumper, wasn't it? It was Storr that also hit another shot there late to pull it back out to 4. Hubbard, he gets a 3-pointer. He hits a couple free throws, and you think that State's made a little run here, and then Hubbard misses to Pinkins hits what ended up being the game winner, the jumper.
About 18 seconds left.
Yeah, with 19 seconds left. His only field goal of the game, by the way. He was 1 of 7 from the field outside of that. And then Josh Hubbard, who's over an 80% free throw shooter, misses both for the Bulldogs.
It's a little tougher late. I mean, look, and again, we get back into the whole the committee's not gonna look at your good fortune. They're just gonna.
It's just a W on the road.
Just a dub. 2 road wins last week. One over a really good Georgia team. I think Mike's team's really good. I've watched them a few times now, and that was a difficult game to win in Athens. And then here's the thing: what makes me go, huh? I firmly believe that because Ole Miss did not shoot. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they did not shoot the ball well Saturday night at all.
I do. Hold on.
Had that game been in November or December, the way that Ole Miss played early in the year with kind of a lack of – see, I think people hear the word chemistry. We all do, and we think, well, it means the team doesn't like each other. Sometimes it just means you haven't figured out how to play with one another.
Ole Miss was 40% from the field, 2 of 20 from 3.
So 10% from 3.
And State was 37 from the field, 5 of 27 from 3. 18.5.
Need to fix the lighting or something.
I mean, good God.
But when you shoot 10%
and you won the game,
you're going to have a hard time winning the game. What were the turnover numbers? Do you have those?
Yeah. Turnovers, 5 for Ole Miss, 8 for State.
That's their deal. I mean,
I know last year that was their deal when they were doing well.
It's
Beard's deal.
It's their deal. Don't turn the ball over. Play clean. Keep yourself
State
in
had
games.
2 points off turnovers on the game.
Yeah, and they're playing a lot better defense. They're using Corey Chess more. They're playing Cassia in some specific roles.
Only lost boards by 3. You'll take it.
Yeah, this team's not going to go win the glass much. So it's a matter of don't get mauled on the glass.
And that's the second game in a row they've gotten a really active A.J. Storr who looks real.
Yeah. When he plays like that, you see why he was once considered a future star at Wisconsin.
I mean this with no jest, why 4 teams have stayed on him.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. He went to Kansas and played a year.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to keep him. I don't know that they were going to pay him what Ole Miss was willing to pay him or give him or promise him the role that I think Ole Miss promised is probably too strong of a word. But, I mean, Chris was pretty transparent from the beginning that if this team's going to go where this team wants to go, AJ's got to play a big role. There's not if AJ doesn't play this role, there's not as clear of a path. And we've seen that early in the year with some of the losses to Utah and to some degree St. John's. Look, at the end of here's where they are though, because it's all about going to the tournament. They have put themselves back this last week by winning these 2 road games. They've put themselves back in a position to get there. If they win tomorrow night against Auburn, and it's a big game, I'll write about it later today. It's a big game for them. If they beat Auburn tomorrow night, 6-6 down the stretch in the final 2/3 of the SEC season will put you at 10-8. They don't have egregious losses.
Bubbly is all hell.
And the way that the league is with the nets, you want to use KenPom or net?
I mean, you have to use net because that's what matters.
So Vanderbilt's 13, Florida's 15, Alabama's 18. Arkansas's 24, Tennessee's 26, Georgia's 27, Kentucky's 28, Auburn's 36, Texas is 41, Texas A&M's 42, LSU's 48. So that's 11 teams in the top 48.
Okay.
Which means that your net's never going to fall much. And then if you go to KenPom, it's Florida's 9, Vanderbilt's 12, Bama's 17, Tennessee's 22, Arkansas's 23, Kentucky's 24, Georgia's 28, Auburn's 34, Texas A&M's 39, Texas is 40, LSU's 44. So you've got 11 teams in the top 44. Ole Miss is 59 in KenPom. So this week's nothing but opportunity, especially if you could beat Auburn. The game at Rupp is pretty free shot-ish because
you just don't – your problem a little bit.
You're going to have to win games. You're going to have to get to 10 wins. You're going to have to beat good teams.
It can be a free shot, but that means you need to beat Vanderbilt at home,
right?
Because you've got a weird schedule here: at Kentucky, Vandy at home, at Tennessee, at Texas, Alabama at home.
Yeah,
it's
tough.
It's a damn bear right there for 5 games.
But that's my point, though. If you're going to get to 10, you're going to beat good teams.
Yeah.
Which means if you beat good teams, your net's going to go up, your KenPom's going to go up, and you're probably going to position yourself to get in. It's why when people say, well, I don't think at 10 wins they get in, I'm kind of starting to think at 10 wins they do.
Yeah.
Because of the teams that you'd have to beat to get there. I mean, the lowest ranked team in the league in KenPom is Mississippi State at 83. And in net, it's Mississippi State at 95. Everybody's in the top 100. And that probably will stay that way the rest of the way because everybody's just playing each other. It's not like South Carolina and Mississippi State have some SWAC teams or some MEAC teams left on the schedule. So you're getting nothing but quad 1 and quad 2 opportunities the rest of the way. But yes, you have to win the games. By losing to Utah on a neutral floor, losing to Miami at home, losing to Iowa on a neutral floor, losing to
the
St.
Utah
John's.
game.
It was bad. I was there.
That was bad.
Had you won 2 of those games, we're having a different conversation. I think 9-9 would probably get you in. But you didn't, and so you have to make up that ground in the league. But this is also the part where, and you see this in the rankings, you got to remember that the bubble, when we get there, and I think Ole Miss has a real chance of us having a lot of bubble conversations.
Yeah.
The bubble is full of really flawed teams. Miss America's not on the bubble.
There's a wart.
There's warts everywhere. There's teams that you're like, whoa, look at that.
And not like the Sidney Crawford wart.
No. Like, look at that loss. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be there. But we'll see. It's a big week. You can't lose both games this week. You got to win one of them. And if you beat Auburn tomorrow night, obviously that gets you a win over a team that's 34 in KenPom and 36 in the net. And that gives you a opportunity to go get a big quad 1 win at Rupp against a Kentucky team that's interesting.
Interesting's the word. State's done. That's it.
Yeah, they're not.
They're destined for 5-6 wins.
The only 2 teams in the league that I feel comfortable going, they're done, are South Carolina and State. Everybody else, I can make a compelling argument for how Missouri could get there, how Oklahoma could get there, how Ole Miss could get there. Frankly, right now, LSU would be on the bubble, but I think they'd be on the good side of the bubble. And then the others, Texas A&M, Auburn, Georgia, Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, Vandy, Florida, they'd all get in today. You've got to put 68 teams in the tournament. There aren't 68 great teams.
Florida had a big win in Nashville on Saturday, 98-94 over Vanderbilt.
They're starting to look the part.
Yeah, they're 4-1 now in the league. Georgia, nice win against Arkansas, 90-76, bouncing back from that loss to Ole Miss.
That was a big game for Georgia, and here's why. They lost that game to Ole Miss. They built a 20-point lead, and I think Arkansas cut it to 1 or tied it in the second half.
And then they went on a little bit
And
of a
then they
hammer.
went on a run and got it. That would have been a moment where,
Ooh.
you let that slip away and Arkansas gets away with a win there. You lose 2 home games where you had late leads in both. That'd be tough. To get that win for them was big. I really like. I don't know what it is about that team. I really like their team. They're Georgia. They're physical on the glass. They're super athletic. They've got some really good guard play. I think for Ole Miss at the end of the year, that win in Athens has a chance to be a really big one.
Alabama was down 11 at the break, came back, outscored Oklahoma on the road 50-37 in the second half to win 83-81 in Norman. They are now 3-2 in the SEC.
I didn't like the way Oklahoma managed the last minute of that game. That was shaky.
Speaking of, we mentioned Kentucky was down by either almost or right at 20 at one point. They come back and win 80-78 at Thompson Bowling on Saturday, outscoring the Volunteers 49-36 in the second half. LSU winning 78-70 at the PMAC against Missouri. They're now their first SEC win, 1-4 in the SEC. Missouri 3-2 in the SEC. Texas A&M goes on the road to Austin and wins 74-70. The Aggies 4-1 in the SEC, playing a little bucky-ball right now. Just saying, 14-4, 4-1.
He's a good coach.
Texas 2-3 in the SEC, 11-7 overall, and then the Tigers, who are coming to Oxford tomorrow night, they win 71-67 and just absolutely a must-win against South Carolina at home on Saturday. Carolina 1-4 in the SEC. Auburn 2-3, 11-7 overall.
Yeah, first look at Stephen Pearl.
Yeah,
Bruce's son is the head coach of Auburn.
It's true.
Be interesting to see if you can in person see any real differences in style.
Yeah. So tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. For that, the Rebels and the Tigers. Take a final break, tell you about the Jackson Graber Group, GMFS Mortgage, John Graber in Oxford. He is the local trusted mortgage lender right here in town. Help all home buyers with first home, new construction, refinances. Graduated from Oxford High, Ole Miss alum, local in-house processing, underwriting, servicing, and construction. Condo financing expert. That's a little weird. That's a little wonky sometimes in Oxford. You need an expert. He is one of those. So give him a call, whether you're doing the condo thing, buying a home, refinancing, or just questions. GMFSmortgage.com/JGG 662-762-4502.
Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental's here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself. It's corinthdental.com. Brought to you by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. If you're thinking of making a move, put the power of Sotheby's to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's and a supporter of all things Ole Miss, Art can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. So call and ask Art how. 612-805-5929 or email him at arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com.
Podcast brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area and offer medicine to prescriptions at the same time each month. Take care of you. One trip to the pharmacy, one delivery. You have everything you need when you need it with G&M. So, again, that is 662-236-2222. Ginger saying her husband yelled at her when she turned the Kentucky game on just after halftime. Yeah, the cat's probably a little frustrated there at some point around that moment. I don't know. The telecast on Saturday.
But they came back and won.
They did. No, they're
the second half counts too.
Tough as nails, really. I mean, that's the way I see it.
It's a win.
They close well. I'm not shocked that Sean McDermott is out in Buffalo. The expectations are the expectations, and he has not been to a Super Bowl. It is very hard, but
and you have a
generational quarterback that you're wasting right now.
Yeah.
Hell of a game.
It was that.
Just a gut punch. Bo Nix out for the AFC Championship with an ankle injury he suffered on basically a quarterback power play.
Yeah.
2 real plays left in the game as they were trying to get into field goal range to kick the game winner there. So we've got New England, Drake May, and the Patriots, they are on the road in Denver to face the Broncos, who now have Jarrett Stidham, the former Auburn quarterback, as their starter for the AFC Championship game.
Instead
and
of
then,
start at Arkansas and then go to Auburn. Is that what he did?
I thought he had some Baylor in him.
Was it
not?
Baylor? I can't remember.
For some reason, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Random quarterback and where they started or finished is not my.
That was pre-portal.
Oh yeah. That's he's a pioneer, really, when you think about it.
I remember him being at Auburn. It seems like he was somewhere else.
Baylor.
Was it just Baylor and Auburn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was Baylor 2015, Auburn up to 2018.
Okay.
He is from Stephenville, Texas, which is Jevin Snead's hometown.
Seems like I remembered that.
He was born in Corbin, Kentucky, but yes. He originally committed to Texas Tech. So
he started his career with the Patriots, right?
He did. He was a Pat from 19 to 21. He was a Raider in 22, and he's been a Bronco since 23.
Yeah.
And I believe they kept, I could be wrong here.
If there's a coach in the world who can get a backup ready to go, especially a veteran backup.
Oh, that's the one I want. Yeah,
I mean, Sean Payton will put a plan together for him that will give him a chance.
Their biggest issue is going to be Nix is so valuable in their run game, and they don't really trust much of their run game outside of that. It's going to be a chore.
You can't ask Stidham to go be a runner. He's not going to be.
Nix also, I'm making a bad comparison, but for people who haven't watched a lot of NFL, but you're going to turn this game on, Nix does some Chambliss stuff in the pocket, moving around, avoiding pressure, does a really good job to not get sacked, and Stidham gets sacked. He is concrete back there in a lot of ways when he has played. Now, he will push it downfield. I mean, they can throw it a little, but we'll see. Pat's 4.5-point favorites, I believe, in that.
You've got to like them.
You got to like them. And then I am all in on the NFC game. The LA Rams.
Probably the Super Bowl.
The LA Rams have knocked off the Chicago Bears in one hell of a football game.
That was.
Weird game, but hell of a game.
Hell of a game.
On Sunday. I don't know that. We'll go there in a second.
If DJ Moore runs the right route,
yeah,
we're probably talking about Caleb Williams in a completely different way today.
Well, that's where I was stalling and not going. I don't think there is a player in football that helped his own case more than Caleb Williams this season. His profile was 100% different than it was in the preseason. He did.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. He was fantastic. He had the one throw that would have been remembered forever had they won a game. Instead, they lose it when he's pedaling backwards. It was just.
Well, he talked about it after the game. He said he sprinted backwards because it was the only way that he was going to get any space away from Jared Verse, and he still got creamed as he threw the ball. Just an incredible play.
This is now Sean McVay's third NFC Championship game. Obviously has a Super Bowl win over the Bengals. They've played against the Patriots in the game that I'm forgetting or try to forget. Decent chance to come back against a Seattle team that has it's cool. We don't talk about it, but a pretty neat story. A hell of a defense. God, they swarm defensively.
Yeah,
they're fun. They are fun to watch. There's no doubt about that. So you get this divisional matchup between two teams that can't stand each other.
Yeah.
If you can get rivalries and a little bit of hatred in the NFL, this is one of those. So you get that with
I just
Seahawks
can't. I just at this point can't bet against Matt Stafford.
He's underrated.
Oh.
We don't give Matt Stafford the play, and he's got a ring. I mean, he was in Detroit for so long, just sort of wandering.
Yeah, on a bad team.
Bad organization.
Yeah.
And now we're here. Seattle minus 2.5 at home against the Rams.
I like the winner of that game to win the Super Bowl.
I do too.
I mean, feels like that's the game. Is that the late game?
5:30.
Yeah.
2:00 for the other one. I'm in.
Yeah, I didn't watch a ton of the Texans game. It was kind of on in the background a little bit. C.J. Stroud was bad. The ball was wet.
He was really
the
bad.
conditions were horrible. The Patriots turned it over a good bit too. He lost his tight end early. I can't think of his name. Kincaid, I think. And then one of his best receiver was out. concussion protocol. And their defense is good, but
you're asking
Stroud to do a lot, and he didn't. Kind of curious to see what happens there a little bit. They're probably doing some soul searching. He has regressed a bit since his rookie year.
One of the neat stories too in football, the Rams probably are in the Super Bowl last year if it's not coming a snowstorm in Philadelphia, and now they get the snow again and pull it off this week because they're not really built for that. And
it was cold.
Found a way. Yeah,
it was cold. It was a great game. The NFL couldn't have asked for a better drama for Sunday night. As a rule, the NFL playoffs deliver.
That's not.
You get a dud here and there, but for the most part, they deliver.
Is Indiana winning tonight?
I kind of think so. Haven't given that game a hell of a lot of thought. Have you?
I forgot it was tonight.
Yeah.
If I'm being, with all the just portal that will not stop at this point, it will. But it's the one point I want to make. I forgot. I'll go here, and I've got. There was a ton of stuff kind of all over the internet this morning. I put it on the message board. So if you're a member at Rebels 24/7, go check it. I put a lot of stuff up about NIL and who was paying what and some agent stuff. There was a lot of random tidbits that were pretty good for the board this morning that I typically would talk about on the podcast, but it just wasn't necessary in the moment. Players got around the country. Some got into the portal planning to simply go back to their current school for the spring and then make a decision after that point. So even though there's no spring portal period, there will be a fairly decent number of notable players because you can only pull this off if you're pretty good. Otherwise, the school's going to cut you and tell you to go kick rocks. But if you're pretty good, where they want the chance to keep you, they'll allow this. A player will be in the portal but still go through spring practice and the spring semester at their current institution, but will have the ability to transfer at any point up until the season begins or school starts in the fall. So just be aware of that as we proceed.
And people are going to graduate, and they don't have to even get into the portal. They can just transfer.
Graduate people will just be in. So those are two things to note kind of as we move forward there. But anyway. All right, Ole Miss Auburn tomorrow night. We'll have more on that game tomorrow. We'll look at midweek in the SEC. We will talk about some more portal activity, some college football stuff tomorrow. And I want to get to some of the revenue report for the week is over. I posted a story up on that on, I think, Friday. I've got a little more on that coming also this week, Rebels 24/7. So just be aware of that, but I want to talk about that tomorrow also. So appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you then.